Welcome back to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. I'm Jason Balen at Hard Money Bankers and my co-host Ian Horowitz from Equity Warehouse coming to you live. We're both back in office. Did a little bit of traveling throughout the summer, but we decided to hop on, do a live show, talk about manifesting your goals. Definitely a topic that is near and dear to our hearts. Ian's got a really awesome experience and story that he's going to share here in a second. But, I don't think that you can underestimate the power of setting goals, putting your goals to paper, obsessing about your goals on a regular basis, freaking hanging them up on your ceiling, your wall, whatever the goal means to you, putting them in a notes on your phone, creating vision boards and taking pictures of stuff that you want. And I think we can both attest, and I think a lot of successful people can attest to that being a reality. We just had a previous guest, Dr. Jen Salisbury. She kept talking about her magic whiteboard, and I'd never heard the term magic whiteboard, but I 100% knew what it was when she said it, because I just write it down on a magic whiteboard and it magically comes true. And that is 100% a fact. It's not my opinion. That is a fact. Now, it might not happen overnight, and you got to work hard to do that, but dreams come true. What are your thoughts on this topic, Ian?
Don't you literally have a book called The Whiteboard Effect or something like that?
Oh, the whiteboard.
Yeah, the whiteboard. I mean, come on, man. You should have known what
simple.
That
Blank slate to, I don't even know what the subheadline
I think
is anymore.
your book was more about working the other way, writing stuff and getting it off your getting it off your list, getting the
right? So yeah, somewhat. I mean, you can look at it different ways. It's a blank slate, right? Like you start from scratch. You put what you want on there. It can be a to-do list, a dream list, whatever you want it to be, and turn that into reality.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, guys, if you get any value out of this before we hop in any deeper, just feel free to share. Normally, we have a guest on here, and it's about them. Since today it's just me and Jason, if you get any value out of this, feel free to share it. We would love the feedback. We don't care about the likes, the subscribes, none of that other stuff. Just go ahead and share it. With that being said, yeah, Jason's like, hey, what do you want to talk about today? And I said, let's talk about goals and manifestation. And I know we talk about it a lot, but I had a really clear reminder. We got a chance to fish in the White Marlin Open, which is like the World Series of fishing. It is a huge event. Like Michael Jordan's there, all the big boats, all the big brands, all that stuff. They're all there. Under Armour sends their sponsored boat. Huck sends their sponsored boat. I mean, it is the who's who of fishing. And then you got us idiots out there fishing. But prior to this fishing event, we're just going out for sport. We're going out for complete sport. And before this, a couple weeks before, my wife was like, hey, I heard a thing that says you should write down I want. And once you write I want, write down what you want and write it completely out and it'll come true. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I was walking around a bookstore and I saw the book. It's called The Secret. I don't know if anybody's watched the movie The Secret. I picked up a copy and I started rereading it a few weeks ago. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Because I remember I wrote early on in our investing careers, I wrote down, I want to retire by the time we're age 40. And we wound up retiring at 39 or 38 years old, right? So that wish came true. I wrote that I wanted 100 houses. That wish came true. I wrote that I wanted to have a company. That wish all came true. And it was a really good, friendly reminder. I was like, whatever, I'm going to go old school here. So I wrote down, I want to catch a winning fish in the White Marlin Open. And I kept writing it. And I wasn't super specific about what it was. And sure as shit, on the last day, in the last hour, we picked up there was a couple hours left, but on the last day, we picked up a winning wahoo that I reeled in, and it wound with me and my teammates, and I wound up paying almost $70,000 for that fish. And after I got that fish on the boat and I finally calmed down, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like the first words to my wife was, yeah, we manifested that. Like I forgot how powerful, and I don't care like if you want to be in the foo game or not, but like some of that stuff is real, man. Like we wrote down, I want to catch. And I know this seems a little far-fetched for people because you are fishing, but there's a lot of things that happened to get us to that last day that put us in the game to catch that fish. And it just reminded me of everything else we should be doing. I was manifesting this white marlin open fish. I was writing some stuff down for our business that has come true over the past week. Literally caught the fish. And then the second thing that I've been manifesting, the person that I needed to called me that Monday. It was like, holy shit, dude, nice fish. By the way, here's all the stuff on this business deal that we're working on. I can't share it right now, but I just keep thinking, holy crap, he manifested that. So I've started a journal. I got one in the office and I got one at my house that once a day or twice a day, I write down the goals that we want to complete. And I started off with, I want. And I will never not believe this ever again. Truly life-changing stuff.
So you start that as an I want, and you don't have to share what they are, but like, are they all just, I want this, I want this, I want this? Or are they more in depth, like paragraphs or sentences?
Well, here you go. It's like, I'm transparent. I want Equity Warehouse to make $1 million in the last part of 2024 so that Dan and I can enjoy the distributions. The money will be used for X, Y, and Z for Dan and my beach house that I want to buy in the north end of Ocean City, New Jersey. We're going to continue to streamline our business and, operate towards our goals, blah, 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 blah. Right. So like I want some sort of goal, but then I've expanded on it. Like I wish I had my other journal here because I wrote down, I want to catch a winning fish at the White Marlin Open because I know the excitement and joy that it would bring to all my friends and the camaraderie that it would create. And sure as shit, all those things came about. Right. So, yeah, man, I think the more you do it, and I've noticed just rereading just my few weeks of doing it, how more in depth it got every single time. And the more vivid the description became of each goal that we were trying to achieve. So it's wild, man, because like, it's like true, but then it's not true. Or like, you don't feel like it's real. Maybe it's not that it's not true. And I don't know how much you can align that to what actually happened, but I don't know, man. For us to go to the scales at the White Marlin Open, people fish that thing for however long, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, never get to go to the scales. We went to the scales in our second year and wound up getting paid. And I know some people say it's pure luck, but I don't know, man. Writing down that thing every day for about 2 weeks leading up to that event. And then for it to happen where we almost got canceled, picked up a boat at the last minute, all kinds of drama with the weather and everything else that was going on. And for us to be able to pick up a fish, I think it's insanely crazy. And as this one business deal becomes a little more something that I can share, again, it was another thing that I was manifesting. This person will call me and this will happen. And these things will come about where we're both in a positive situation. I do know, just from reading the book, The Secret, and I'll pull it up here in a second, is it says to be very detailed because your mind doesn't know when you use generalization, like, I want to make $1 million, but there's like no clear depiction to it versus saying, I want to make $1 million by doing X, by wholesaling 50 houses this year. Well, now your mindset's like, well, how am I going to flip? How am I going to wholesale 50 houses? Right. So,
yeah, I'm gonna bring up some pictures here in a second of the White Marlin Open that we're going to share if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or on video. And if you're watching this on audio, just check it out on YouTube or Facebook as well. And you can see some of these pictures because it's definitely been a hot topic. A lot of people that know me, that know Ian, or that know that I'm, good friends with Ian, reach out to me about it as well. It's like, that's freaking badass. How'd it go? Blah, blah, blah. They asked me all the details because I saw a lot of friends of mine and Ian's on Monday at an event, and he came back Sunday night and they're like, oh, did you talk to Ian yet? Like, blah, 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 like, how'd it go? And, I got the scoop on Sunday night, so I was able to share it. So I'm going to show pictures here in a second.
I wonder if I would have been like more clear. I said, I want to catch a winning fish. And I caught a winning fish. I wonder if I would have wrote, I want to catch a winning white marlin would we have picked up the $4 million fish, right? Like that's
Yeah,
the one thing that you don't know, right?
You haven't shared how much you made on this fish yet.
Oh, we could talk about that once you share some pictures, but I do wonder
because the amount's in the picture, but
yeah,
you'd be quite a bit richer. Let's just put it that way.
yeah. So we won $66,000, and by the time we paid our boat, and the winnings that they earned for putting us on the fish, we netted roughly like $2,000 a head, right? Which is huge, right? We got to go offshore fishing for 3 days, and we were on vacation for 8 days. Well, it's not really vacation; it's actually a lot of work. But we were away for 7 days, so in the end, we basically broke even. But it was an experience. Me and Ryan were just texting, dude. It's got to be top 5 non-family related events. It's probably top 5 experiences that we've been through. So,
I'm sure. No doubt. I'm sure. I want to add one. I want to talk about one thing real quick, and then we're gonna show these pictures. So, is the secret on Audible?
I don't know if it's on Audible. I'm actually like every couple of times a year I get into this kick where I want to like paper read a book, and it's a super easy read. So I did pick up the hard copy. I saw it and I knew I needed to grab it, and my phone's frozen. Let's see, Audible, and let's look up The Secret. Come on.
Yeah, it is. I'm on it. I just downloaded it. We're in.
Oh, there you go.
We're in, boys. We're in, and girls.
And I think it's on Netflix. There's a movie on Netflix. It looks it's really old. But
it's it looks like it's a quick, easy read. You know, I typically do stuff at 1.3x on Audible. It depends on how fast the speaker is, but at that it's 3 hours and 24 minutes. Bang that out before the end of the weekend. Let's go.
Yeah, that's like 2 walks for you.
Let's go. So a few other things. So I mean, I like that approach. I mean, I don't, I want, and I grabbed one of my mastermind group books that I have that was sitting here that was blank because I have a lot of them from all my mastermind events, and like only the first 5 pages are out. So I literally just ripped out a few pages of notes. Now I have a blank book, and page 1 I just wrote, I want.
There you go.
And I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna freaking leave this thing in my back freaking pocket as well because I like that idea. I mean, typically there's lots of different ways to do this. Back in the day when I was trying to keep things digital, I'd put these on like an Evernote or a Google Drive. I'd write. I never did the I want. I would just write, goals and stuff like that. And for those of you who have listened to our podcast long enough, our business, Hard Money Bankers, our 10-year goal was hit in 3 years. Earlier on, what we thought we'd want to be in 10 years, we hit it in 3 years by literally having a business coach that just held us accountable, and we would just write down goals on a regular basis, and then he'd hold us accountable. We'd put our heads down and we'd strive to hit those goals on a regular basis, and boom, magic, they worked. And I don't want to say we hit every goal, but we hit our business financial goals by a certain period of time. So we've always done that. I've always dabbled with printing like direct metrics out into charts and graphs and other ways to visually see them besides just putting on a piece of paper and hanging them on my walls and stuff like that to see at all given times. Typically I always have stuff on a note card that says every day, workout, no sugar, no carbs. Like that's always a common one. And I like have that in my pocket, and I'm thinking, things like that. So everyone's always dabbling with different things at work, and I don't think there's a right or wrong. Whatever works for you, whatever makes the most sense that you are going to be. And I can't say that the term manifest. I can't say that I manifest my goals on a regular basis. I just write down my goals and then look at them on a regular basis. But I don't necessarily, obsess or talk about them on a regular basis. And I think for the most part, because typically what I've always done is you have like your top goals, and then you have kind of like underarching goals under it. And I think what makes sense is, and I'm going to hold myself accountable and do this, is start writing some goals in here, I wants, and literally every day, read them out loud. Not just look at them, read them out loud every morning.
Yeah, I think if you call it manifestation or whatever you want to call it, I think just simply writing it down allows you to keep like your eye on the prize, right? Like I would ask you on your 10-year goal for Hard Money Bankers. I know you didn't hit every single one, but if you guys never wrote that down, do you think you would have got there in the time frame
No.
that you did, or would you have like sidetracked all the way through?
I mean, we would have sidetracked. I don't know if we would have got there. I don't know. Our goal. So we started in 2007, and I think we probably started this goal in 2010, maybe I would say. But our goal was to hit $30 million in loan volume. That was always like, if we can get to $30 million deployed, and I mean now we're almost double that. But like that's, where we were like, if we're at this stage, we can hire the staff, we can make the money we want, things like that. And, that was hit, 3 years later after it was put in place.
Yeah.
And but it also gives you a direct path. A lot of people don't know what they want. Like if you ask you, like, what do you want? Or if I ask somebody listening or watching this, what do you want? You might not know what you want. So I think part of the process is really kind of determining what you want, and things change on a regular basis. Every once in a while, I'll go back to, our coach, Tony, who we hired to, he was our business coach for a few years to help us with this. I'll go back to those, like trailing 12-month metrics. Is that what it was called? That we did. And I'll go back and I was like, man, that was funny that was like something that might be second nature that I'm doing on a regular basis now was hard for me to do one time. And I gave myself like 6 months to accomplish it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to kind of see, and I think there for a little bit, things were going so well that it was like, oh, you don't have to write anything down, and it's just like things are just jamming, and then all of a sudden, I don't want to say it's a roadblock, but it's like you hit a fork in the road, and you're like, I don't know which way is up, and it's like to get to that next level, it's like what worked for us at the beginning. All right, let me start writing stuff down again, and I had dabbled with this. Writing down stuff. I think I told you that I was journaling for a little bit. I maybe lasted like 2 months and nothing really came of it, but I don't think I was fully there. And then for like this to happen and for this to work, I was like, oh my God, like I'm never not going to do this again. And if nothing else, it's just a place to brain dump. Like me and Jason talk every day. We still talk almost every day. This is how this podcast came about. But in the same sense, it's also good to like be in your own thoughts by yourself. So then when a problem does arise, you've already thought about it. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard, and this is kind of not manifestation, but more of like business dealings, like Abraham Lincoln, he would be mad at one of his generals. He'd write out a letter cursing him out and stick it in his desk drawer and then decide if he's going to send it to the next day. Well, it's the same thing you can do when you're journaling, manifesting, whatever you want to call. You're sorting through your problems and your tasks that you need to do to then when the problems actually do come and face you, or the decisions that you need to make to actually go make the $1 million or make the whatever you're trying to do, or go catch a fish or lose weight, whatever it is, you've already sorted that out and you've programmed your brain to say, hey man, like I'm not going to eat this bread today, or I'm going to go and actually put this house under contract. I've been scared, but now I'm going to go execute on it. Right. Like, I think that's what this is. Journaling, manifesting, whatever you want to call it, however you got to start your sentence. I just know that when I wrote I want, something came true. 2 things came true for me. So I will always write I want, but it's a way for you to sort out your problems, have the discussion. The business deal that I was working on, that I told you I was manifesting, was complicated. And when the person called me, I had already gone through several scenarios, and I've already programmed my brain to say that both of us need to leave with a positive outcome on the backside. So it was a much more pleasant conversation than normal defense Ian yelling, screaming, fighting, and everything, and piss and vinegar, right? So I think that's the advantage of journaling and getting your thoughts out on paper, besides just being in a mastermind group or talking to your friends and everything else. I think this personal time goes a very long way.
All right. Everyone's waiting to see some pictures. That's watching this live. Let's just bring up some pictures. So, okay. So this is a 70-pound fish, which is a big ass fish, right?
Yeah, I'm about 6'2" on a really good day. I'm hovering around 6'1" right now because my back's been killing me. So that fish is every bit of 72 to 74 inches.
So so this is a wahoo. It's not, a white marlin or a blue marlin or anything. And I saw somebody when I was down there. I was at the beach this weekend too, or this week too. But on on White Marlin Open Facebook page, I saw a freaking like 894-pound blue marlin. This
Yep.
thing's 70 pounds.
Yep.
That mofo was almost 900 pounds. Like, that's a big ass fish right here. Like, I can't even imagine that like dinosaur monster that somebody's catching.
I mean, dude, this 70 pounds was a war between us and the fish. I mean, it was so the whole thing with the White Marlin Open in this fishing tournament and a lot of tournaments is once the angler touches the rod, that's it. It's you versus the fish. So everybody was in the salon, and I had put the belt on and decided that I was going to be the one that wanted to fight this fish. And it was a
So
solid
it's whoever
20
grabs
minutes.
it. It's whoever grabs the rod first.
As soon as the angler touches the rod, nobody else can then touch him. The only thing the other guys can do is keep you from going overboard, and hand you water should you need it. So this thing, I fought it for about 20 minutes by myself, in really calm seas, but it felt like I was going up and down 6-footers every time that boat moved, and it was a war. I mean, so wahoo are like one of the fastest fish in the ocean. They'll say they swim upwards of 50 miles per hour. And that boy runs, and they're fast. They're like a sports car.
So what's the strategy? So, originally he's got slack, right? And then I don't know the terminology. And then in essence, like, you're pulling him, right? And then you let him just kind of do his thing for a while, just so you're not burning energy. And as soon as there's more slack,
yeah.
like,
So
you're
trying
there's
to
more
keep
slack,
that
and then you
rod.
go again.
Yeah, you're trying to keep the rod bent, and anytime you can gain on them, you're trying to gain.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: we picked up this fish on not the right gear. They got razor sharp teeth. So the key to this, and I didn't know this at the time, was really to keep the rod bent. And I knew that from just fishing in general, salmon fishing and some other ocean fishing, to keep it as bent as much as possible, because you don't want the line rubbing on their teeth and getting away. So I did my best to do that. And then you're using the rod as leverage, and then you're reeling down, trying to keep a nice bend in it and not jerk it, and just up and down to bring them in. And
So you're not trying to yank it this way. You're
not trying to yank it. You're just trying to easy up. And then as you're letting down, easy, and then back up without jerking it.
Those fishing rods, how many like pounds can they hold?
I mean, all the rigging that we had out would have handled that 900-pound fish. So,
and then like typically they don't, like we've all been fishing, little kid fishing, and like, you're like, oh, I caught something, and then this little sunfish breaks the freaking,
yeah,
Does that happen in this?
Yeah, it happens. I mean, we were using 60-pound line. Sometimes the fish wouldn't bite, because you can only rig the bait certain ways for tournament fishing. So, it was a lot of, we got a couple that got off. We had caught a small dolphin and a small tuna prior to all this that wasn't scale worthy, but we did get we brought this bad boy in, and there she blows.
All right. Shit. Sorry, I went too fast. All right. So there's another look. Adam. I like that shirt that you got.
Yeah. Well, the boat, as we were rolling up, they're like, here's all the gear. So.
All right. So is that after the fish came in, you're high-fiving somebody?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. That was okay. So the other thing you guys got to know about this, Michael Jordan was fishing in this tournament. And as I'm reeling this in, I just kept saying 60 grand, screw Michael Jordan, 60 grand, screw Michael Jordan, because he was leading this, what they call Calcutta, with a different fish. And I knew if I could get this fish in, we would take money from him. So our prize money basically chopped his pot in half and brought us money and took money out of his pocket. So it was a very intense, great feeling when that boat came on the fish came on the boat.
And then there's your trophy. Where is it in your office?
It's still at home. The girls like it. So eventually we're going to get that fish mounted up on the wall. And then we have the trophy, and eventually we'll get the check and anything else that we got. So
you're going to put that in your office?
Eventually, yeah.
Wait, so you can get the fish mounted?
So they don't mount fish anymore. They just, you give them the measurements, and then I sent you another picture where they, the coloring, and they'll they remake it. It's not like the old days where they stuff them.
All right. So who's who in this picture?
So from left to right, the green shirt, is Captain. That's the Captain Meatball, Captain Brandon. And then in front of him's Gus. He was one of our anglers. Behind him's Jeff, which is one of the other mates. And then we got Ryan Tucker, myself with my eyes closed, Dan Matthey. That's Equity Warehouse as a whole. And we got Vic, who's a buddy of ours. And then Ryan Daubert. He's our insurance agent. We've interviewed him on the podcast. He has a small boat that we had to bail on due to weather. And then don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure the guy in the end is whatever the name is, it's signed on the check. Moscow. They're the family that founded this tournament.
Yeah, I heard the story about the family that I was listening to that. So there's a daughter that I think runs it right now.
Yeah, the two daughters run it. And it's a family affair. And this is the one thing that they do for the whole year to earn some money and give back. Most of the fish, like the marlins, get donated. Some of the tunas get donated. We could have donated our fish, but I've never had wahoo before. But a lot of the fish gets donated to the Maryland Food Bank. So they do it as a give back, which is pretty cool too. So
sweet.
So
balling, baby.
Yep, it's a cool looking check, but not huge distribution. So next time we're gonna try for a bigger distribution.
Let me show one more picture that you sent me.
Yeah, there it is. As soon as it came over the rail, it's pretty fish. So
can they use that whatever that thing's called?
Gaff.
Can you do that when the fish is in the water still?
Yeah, they gaffed it up and over the rail. So we don't have any there's no video, there's no pictures floating around with that because it was really, really tense on the boat. So
yeah, that's awesome, dude. Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there you go, guys.
Yeah, so that's where manifesting your goals. So when's the see, I thought, my first thing when I called you on Sunday night was, did you use that money as a down payment on a boat?
Well, next go around we're in. So
which that type of boat doesn't get you real far. Was it a Viking you were on?
No, we were on an older ocean yacht. The guy, the dad had owned a fuel oil company. So the boat's been in the family for a while. I mean, some of the boats, some older technology, you can buy them for a few $100,000. Again, it's a high dollar amount. Today's boats that everybody wants to be on that are all cool that you see all over Instagram, everything's 7 figures. So,
and that's what like MJ has, and
the MJ
he's got like a bayless or something.
Yeah, he's got a bayless. Yeah, 82 feet. He probably spent upwards of $6 to $8 million. The one guy Gus who was in the picture. He keeps his boat on the same dock where they put Jordan every year, and he had about $250,000 of props just laying on the dock because he travels with extra props.
The prop is the spinning thing on the bottom.
What's that?
The propeller, like the spinning thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And and you can replace those easily though, right? Like he just replaces them himself. No, I mean not him, but his crew.
Yeah, I think they could. It's usually just one nut. I mean, I don't know on the bigger boats what they are, but I'd assume it's just one nut and a cotter pin.
So why are they? I mean, I've gone through my fair share of props, grounding boats in the past.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
But what, like on their type of boat, like when do they, like why do they replace theirs? Just out of curiosity.
I would assume in case they hit something. I don't know. The salt water, I think they get a lot of buildup. They got to get cleaned.
Got it.
So
no, that makes sense. I mean, and that makes sense. I'm on this Bayless website right here, and obviously MJ's boat is featured, and there's some pretty sick boats on that thing. And I'm sure he's got, like, in your boat, there was cabins to sleep on, right?
Yeah, there's cabin to sleep on.
Are you allowed to do that, or did every boat have to come in every day at the White Marlin Open?
You got to come in every day. You can't cross the buoy till 4 a.m.
You can't cross the buoy till 4 a.m. and they track that somehow.
The Ocean City buoy, you cannot cross it until 4 a.m.
How many boats are in this tournament?
This year there was about 320. Last year there was like 400 and something. The weather really changed a lot. The weather affected a lot of entries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
I think there's another storm coming up the coast now. So
pretty awesome. You guys are in. Well, it's good that,
I mean, we were already going to fish it every year for the rest of our lives after last year because it's so cool. After this, it's a fucking, excuse my French, but it's a lock, dude. It's,
now you guys have an excuse for the wives, the family, friends, get back there. Business partners. It's like, we're in. Like, we're already celebrities out there.
Defend our trophies. I mean, dude, here's the thing. Talk about manifesting. Every time someone brought up Wahoo, something good happened in our lives. So if you hear me yelling Wahoo, that means I'm trying to get something good to happen. Because literally everywhere we went to the one store, Pure Lure, and the guy, the girl in the store was talking about, like, randomly. She's like, "Oh, what the Wahoo pay?" Talking to the owner, and he's like, "Yeah, it was whatever." And then I was like, shit, I got to say something. Dan's looking at me. I was like, all right, I got to say something. I said, oh, yeah, that was me. Next, we're dapping it up, talking, having a grand old time. He's giving us gift cards and all these other things. Like, anytime it came up, something positive happened, So it's just real interesting. So I wonder, as we continue down this road, what else will happen as we continue to manifest things.
So I was telling you, one of my favorite restaurants I was living in Colorado 20 plus years ago was Wahoo's, which is like Wahoo fish tacos. So I just went on their website, and it looks like they have a location in New Jersey.
Really?
So in Middletown, New Jersey, I'm Googling where that is right now. I think that's Monmouth County. So let's go.
Oh, yeah. North Jersey, huh?
Yeah.
Wahoo fish tacos.
Like, I mean, it's a little bit closer of a day trip for you than me, but that's I don't know. I don't even remember if it was a good restaurant, but I was in my early 20s and I remember really liking it. And it was called Wahoo's.
I mean, hey, the fish is really good. I'll tell you that much. I never had it. We cooked it last night. Not fishy at all. Very, very meaty and steaky. It was very, very good. Obviously, it's near and dear to our heart, the fish that we were eating. But in the end, it was very good. So,
dude, Wahoo's fish tacos looks good. I might take a day trip for this. All right, cool. Anything? I mean, we got off subject a little bit, but I do think that, it's a pretty cool story about the White Marlin Open. So all of this came about related to the topic of manifesting goals.
That's right. I mean, in the end, that's what it's about. I'll manifest a Wahoo taco with my friend, and we'll see if we end up there. So, but with that being said, man, I think we covered it all. I just hope everybody, this was a fun experience that we got to manifest. And then, like I said, we also manifested a business experience again. So I hope everybody takes away from this that, you are in control of your own destiny. You can manifest what you want. I'm literally going to talk about this same topic to our mastermind on Thursday over at cre-syndicate.com. If you're interested, come check it out. And that's it, man. Let's continue to enjoy the week and crush it and go from there.
We got a lot of new guests coming up on the podcast, so make sure to always tune in to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. Got a lot of good ones coming up that are going to be launched soon. Some big names, guys doing a lot of and girls doing a lot of really good, a lot of good things, and a lot of opportunities out there right now in this space. So we'll see everybody next week. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time, thank you for tuning in.